everybody. Welcome to the show, Friday show of course, Film Festival Live and filmfestivallive.com. Today is going to be a very good show. I don't want to start off the show. Normally in the beginning, I kind of just jab around about stuff and all that fun stuff, and whether it's acting or the industry or cinematography, it doesn't really matter. Today, I'm going to kind of throw a little strange pitch on it and just say at the end of the show, I'm going to make some comments because I am getting a lot of people asking me questions about the Alec Baldwin incident. And because you know my work and you know that I have two world records, with one with gun handling and the other with whips and ropes and so on, because I do cowboy stuff. And I do have thoughts about that, and certainly my condolences go out to the families of the director. Um, Amazing director she was, and so on. So I'll talk about that later because people are asking me nonstop. So I really would rather sort of address it at the end of the show. But moving on, this is a Friday. It's been a really interesting week. Nothing really amazing, except for the fact that I have an announcement to make that Victor, who I know I'm going to say is Misha Chan, will be a contributor now on our Monday shows doing the business of show business. He is a director and actor and producer that we met on Instagram and has been on the show a couple of times and has this sort of really cool master class that we are putting on the website. And he's going to come on Mondays and just talk about stuff and just sort of banter back and forth with me because I love that and I love segments. So he's going to have his segment coming up every Monday on the show. And who knows, maybe he'll show up on another day of the week as well. We are on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Today is Friday. So you know what? I'm just going to kind of go right into the guest because I'm very excited about this, because one of the things I have to say is that in being in the industry for 40 years, I've always said this. Actually, I've said this in general about women, in the sense that I have this phrase or this little key thing I say all the time. Behind every great man is a woman in front of him with his car keys and directions so he doesn't get lost. And that's been my sort of phrase all the time, because I always say to people, like, if I didn't have my wife, I'd be walking into walls. And most likely, I'd be wearing shirts open down to here with the collars going out like this, going, what's up? So the point is that I'm really glad. And one thing I've said in the industry for many, many years is, what the hell? What's going on with women in the industry and not giving them their just props and so on. My good friends, I have many. Jen Page, awesome director, and she does a lot of like fun action stuff as well. I've got in Las Vegas, I have a handful of directors, and I have to tell you that my experience of dealing with female directors and people in the industry, female, has been an enormous godsend to me, just because my wife, I'll use an example, is so organized, knows exactly what she's doing, very creative. And so I'm just glad to see that this is happening, which dovetails me into the fact that my guest today is the co-founder of the Women's Film Festival. Very excited by this. We're going to have her on. But first, I'm going to give you a little preview of the work and the film festival. Hang tight. Here's what it looks like.
I can feel your heart pound beating like a kick drum. Love it when I'm this drunk. Ooh, yeah, I could find fly burning for you all night. Love it when I'm this high. Ooh, yeah, I could boom, boom, bomb. It rocks my heart. Boom, boom, shake, tear me apart. Baby, your boom, boom, bomb. It rocks my world right, right. Hey, 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 hey,
wait till the end of the show to see the rest of that awesome trailer. Phuong, welcome to the show, and I'm very glad that you're on. First of all, where are you located?
I'm located, and the film festival is located in Philadelphia,
PA.
Pennsylvania.
Awesome.
It's where Lane Marie Williams is our other co-founder. She's now in LA, but she went to school in Philadelphia, and we met randomly. Um, but we can go into that story later.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah. No, well, let's launch now. So let me ask you, how long have you been in the industry? And was this the because a lot of times I'll talk to film festival founders and they'll say, "Oh, well, before this, I was doing something totally different, and I decided to do this, and here I am devoting literally 24/7 of my life every day to this cause." When did you start? And tell us a little bit about your background.
so I was a film festival director before the Women's Film Festival. I was for about a year and a half. I was the film festival director for the Philadelphia Asian American Film Festival.
Okay.
And at that time it was sponsored by HBO and Comcast. It was pretty big for as far as Asian film festivals go on the East Coast, and but I felt but it was a lot of work, and I felt a lot of pressure from me myself just because I came from a different background. I actually was a theater minor, but my major was psychology in
Okay.
undergrad, and so I had stepped down, but still stayed on the board
Right.
for a number of years. And then as I stepped down, I accidentally met Lane Marie in a bathroom. um, I was researching on after parties for the Asian Film Festival, and she was just going out with her friends, and I I and her were both drunk, and I overheard her talking about film. And here comes me with my business card from my pocket, and I'm like, "Hey, you're talking about film?" And so I was like, "I think I can help you. You know, maybe I can help you." And she took my card, and usually when people take your card, you don't know if they're gonna,
Yeah,
you
if
know,
you'll
if
ever
they're
hear it
gonna
again.
email you or not. And the following Monday, she emailed me, and we had lunch. And then the rest is history. Actually, during that first lunchtime was when we came up with the Women's Film Festival, and it was really because she had a short film, and I was trying to figure out which film festival in the Philadelphia area that she could put her film in, and I, for whatever reason, we came up with, oh, there's like no women's film festival in
Hmm.
Philadelphia. And so um, we both had a light bulb moment,
Yeah.
and and we were like, oh, and also March is Women's History Month. So we both had like kind of similar um, proactiveness about
Sure.
us. Like, it's kind of interesting. Me and Lane Marie are really different,
All right.
but where we're similar is like kind of just acting on things
Sure.
versus waiting on them. And so we did it. We did the first year at the Ethical Society in Rittenhouse Square
Hmm.
for 3 days, um, and with like zero money, little money, and
Yeah.
and I
Welcome to
was
the industry. Yeah.
right with zero money, and I was about to quit after that, and then she went to Chicago. So that's what happened to her. She went to Chicago because she had an opportunity to kind of shadow this other female director,
Oh.
and I was absolutely supportive of the time with her going. And then I was left with the film festival,
Oh boy.
um, and I was trying to make a decision. I was like, should I even continue with this? This is a lot of work, but a fellow female staff member had um, mentioned that she had been through some things on set, and that it was that if we didn't go forward, that this would die, and um, that women actually really need something like this.
Sure.
And so, um,
and I just said, okay, let's like I'll just do it. I'll just try to do it on my own,
Right. Right.
with a couple of other people who stayed on staff. Um,
Well, when? How long? Can I ask you how long has the festival been in existence? What year
so
is
it's
this?
so me and Lane Marie, we met in October 2014, and that's when
Oh,
the idea came into conception.
okay.
But we just finished um, our 6th year, although
Ah,
we skipped last year because
of
of the
course.
pandemic.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, everybody kind of did. Oh, you did. So let me just ask that. Actually has two questions to it. You didn't do you didn't do a festival last year, which means you didn't put it online and just do it like via virtual. Uh, no, you just skipped it.
No,
Okay.
we skipped it. Um,
Does
and
that
there's
does that now exist? Does that element exist? Because people are always wondering, like, oh, we love the interview about the film festival, the Women's Film Festival, but is it also online so we can see some of the films?
right. It's not online. We moved that year to this current year,
Okay.
and we combined it with 2021. So
Oh,
we had
cool.
some submissions from 2021. We combined it with all the ones that made it in the submissions
Right.
from 2020, and we combined it together. And basically, every film festival had to make their own choice about whether to um, go forward or not, and figure out
Right.
how that would look like.
Right.
And we had surveyed the filmmakers about what they wanted, and um, a lot of them had expressed wanting to wait till it was live.
Right.
So also, I just feel like film festivals are meant to be live
Oh, sure.
because
Right.
it's just the experience, and seeing your film on the big screen in the movie theater,
Yeah. That's kind of
and the connections you make.
yeah.
Because we have two filmmakers brunches that we offer to
Oh,
allow filmmakers to connect with one another,
that's
and
good.
they're always very fruitful events where filmmakers talk to each other, get to know each other, they see each other's work,
Right.
and they end up connecting with each other after the film festival.
Do you do in the festival? First of all, you said originally it was 3 days. Is it still just 3 days?
This past film festival was 11 days.
Wow.
Yes, really long
You're out of
because
your mind.
we combined last year and this year. Um, and then this coming film festival will be 10 days. I mean, at the previous year was 10 or 9 days.
Okay.
So, yeah,
That's yeah, that's wow. That's
that's a
quite a
lot.
crazy difference from 3 days. But let me ask you this: in the 10 days that you or have done, or 11 days, do you have any kind of like breakout sessions with directors or cinematographers or people in the industry about funding? Do you do anything? Do you do more than just show films?
Yes, we have a number of like panel
Oh,
discussions
good.
with the filmmakers that are from the current year
Hmm.
in the film festival of that year, and then sometimes we do other panel discussions to discuss other topics.
Right.
Where I think the one year we featured Nydia Han, who's a very well respected uh, news anchor
Oh,
from
cool.
ABC News in Philadelphia,
Hmm.
and her segments was all about "This is America" and how um, you know what does that mean, and why, because she had an incident where she was crossing the street, I think, and um, a driver almost hit her, and and she turned around and she's like, "Hey, I'm walking," and the person who was driving was like didn't care and said like, "Well, this is America," like to her, and she was an Asian American, so so she kind of took back to that and made it into a segment, and it's a really important topic,
Yeah,
and
absolutely. Yeah, no,
we
no.
had.
I and what that's one of the other questions I was going to ask you is that in your submissions, are you seeing a lot of people dealing with issues that are happening in our society? Are you getting a lot of films like that? Are you getting people dealing with the Asian hate subject?
So we get films all over the world, and it's quite amazing, and it's very interesting to, it's very eye opening because when you get the opportunity to see the work, it's you get to break your bubble a bit
Sure.
in your own world. So this past film festival, we had a group of filmmakers and a film from El Salvador,
Oh,
and they actually came up as well. And it was all about catcalling and things like that.
oh boy.
Um, and then, but I one of my favorite years this year too, where we had a documentary that talked about um, these these men in the Islam faith in Islam countries that actually were fighting for women's
Oh
rights.
wow.
I know, right? It's very eye opening,
Are they
and
still alive?
they are still. I think they're still.
You know
They're
what I mean? I mean that's
yeah,
a crazy branch to step out on in regards, especially for a man. So that's amazing. Wow.
yeah, and it was a very well done documentary. It's called Man Islam,
Wow.
and it was a different take of what we thought men in the Islam faith in Islam countries
Sure.
were like,
Yeah.
because these were evident men that were like, and that were very, yeah, that were very for much for women's rights. And one of the things that the men had said was, by freeing women, I'm freeing myself because I'm freeing, you free, once you free women, you free man
Yeah.
of their, of what, I guess what they call is toxic masculinity
Sure.
and things like that. And having to bury their emotions.
Yeah.
And so I guess out of these, there's a group of men who saw that. So
That's fantastic. Let me ask you. The festival is in March, correct?
it's normally in March. We had to do this year's film festival in September,
Oh,
and we're slowly trying to inch back to March.
okay.
But because of the pandemic, it kind of made it skip
I was
some.
wondering that because I wanted to know if we can tell our people watching when the next submissions are open. So, do you have
Mhm.
any idea when that is?
Um, Actually, our submissions are open right now
Oh,
on Film Freeway. They just opened last Friday, and our next film festival, I'm just looking at the dates right
that's right, all right.
now,
And while you're looking
is
at that, of course, if you want to check out on Instagram the Women's Film Festival, check it out, follow them, and of course, engage. So that would be good. So, what are the dates?
thank you. The next dates is going to be June 16th
Oh, good.
to the 26th, and that'll be in 2022.
Right, absolutely. Now, from previous years, gauging how many on the average submissions are you getting?
If it's a normal year, the most that we've ever gotten was maybe like 500 to 600 submissions.
Oh,
So I hope that that's the same case this year. Although it's a lot of watching that me and my programming director has to do. Um, my programming director is Susie Nash, and so we're hoping that it's going to be a good year. Although obviously with the pandemic, it's been difficult to film. People have
yeah.
difficulty filming.
And you said the word normal. I don't think we can say that anymore.
Yeah, you're right.
I'm not sure there's anything normal anymore. Um, let me ask you how is the let me ask you the question. It's a two-part question. Number one, in the beginning and now, how is the community accepted or how do they feel? Are you getting good coverage? Are they saying thank you for doing this? It's about time, or opposite?
Yeah, we get a lot of appreciation a lot, especially from our filmmakers. I think we definitely try to treat them as well respected and and we are always trying to help them in some sort of way, whether it's through trying to connect them with someone else,
Yeah.
or offering a little bit of constructive criticism
Right.
in some aspects. We try to include diversity in there,
Of course.
uh, and but there's always room to be. I think there's always room to always be better
Of course.
and always include more people in,
Hmm.
and to think someone mentioned to be more progressive and I guess like I think we try. I think our method is more so like a gentle influence of saying, or by putting these women in the spotlight, by being their cheerleader, by helping them connect with other people. We're trying a more softer approach
Sure.
because we don't we don't want to put in the message of hating men whatsoever. It's
No.
more just like we just want to be equal.
Yeah.
We want to work with you. We want to be the same level,
Sure.
and that's
Yeah.
it. And
No, and I'm glad you said that because that is a misconception that a lot of people think in not just in the women's film festival, but in general, for anything that we do, is there's a lot of times people they'll say, "Oh, you're being one-sided," and they don't really understand, or they're really just not listening. So I do appreciate you saying that. So let me ask you, kind of the last question is that I want you to give a philosophy. I always ask this. I always tell people, give me your the best free advice, the best four-letter word in the English language, free. Give me a little thought about philosophy of view, whether it's about the film festival or it's about life or it's how to make a donut or how to, I don't know what. Anything that you have, Phuong, I want you to give me some sort of philosophy. I always kind of like to end things that way.
hmm,
Yeah, you can think about
okay. Um,
it.
let me think about my life journey. People always ask me like, how do you do it? How do you succeed? And my thing is that um, not that I don't say that quitting isn't an option,
Right.
because it is an option, and it is an option to quit. But I choose not to quit. I think that's where I find my strength is that I'm choosing not to quit. And so, when they see me, uh, they're like, "Oh, how does she do it?" Sometimes, and it's more so like I I deal with a lot of silent failures, a lot, and I don't take it to heart because I know that I'm choosing not to quit,
Sure.
and I have a lot of passion, and I think your channel talks about passion,
Yeah.
and it's just something that I really want to see is this equality for people, and this respect for different people and different views, and the only way I can do that if I choose not to quit. So um,
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, you have to lead by example. I mean, you can't really say I'm going to do this and that and then turn around and not do that because then people are going, well, okay, that didn't work out. So really appreciate it. Um, Phuong Nguyen, I really appreciate you coming on the show. Of course, the Women's Film Festival. If you want to check it out on Instagram, you can go to the Women's Film Festival. By the way, is the website, out of curiosity, is it thewomen'sfilmfestival.com?
thewomensfilmfestival.org.
.org. Okay,
Yep.
well, we were close. At least you're good on your branding. At least .org. I really appreciate you coming on the show. And at the end of this show, folks, I'm going to show the rest of the trailer because I think you're going to love to see the rest of it. Very well done, by the way. I appreciate it. Any last thoughts or comments you want to make?
Just thank you so much for having me. It was really wonderful. Thank you for letting me have space on your platform. So
Yeah, well, you know what? I try as much as I can to bring people on and let them have a voice because this is the reason why we created this because we're kind of tired of seeing the film festivals in the backseat, Now it's time for them to be in the driver's seat. So appreciate all you're doing. I know what you're doing is extremely difficult, but I also know it's very rewarding. So applause to you. Wait a second. Where's my applause? I have it here somewhere. And I hope you have a great day and a great weekend. And we'll see you soon on the red carpet. I appreciate it. All right. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, that's kind of the show, but I just wanted to let you know I'm going to end off here with the thought that I said about earlier. Um, it's a real tough thing because let me see if I can find it. Hold on. So this is my rig because if you know me, you know that I have my world records with you know, gun spinning and what we call gunplay on films and different places. I want to kind of make something clear that, you know, SAG and IATSE came out and they made a statement about what happened on set with Alec Baldwin. It was shot in New Mexico. And one of the reasons I'm bringing this up is because, first of all, my condolences go out to the director's family, and of course the, you know, the cinematographer who was also hit, um, because this is and also to Alec Baldwin. I mean, I saw this post yesterday on Instagram and thought to myself, not this, but I saw that he was doing a Western. I'm like, wow, why didn't they call me? But after that, you know, and when everything happened, I thought to myself, wow, I mean, I can't imagine, and I am somewhat of a gun expert. I can't imagine what it would be like in this situation where he did a scene. Now, if you're going to war and you're a soldier, male or female, or you are, you know, you're being robbed and someone comes after you and you have to defend yourself, that's one story. But the fact is that Alec Baldwin went to work yesterday and was just thinking, hey, we're going to be shooting this movie. I think he's a producer as well, called Rust, by the way. And gee whiz, lo and behold, he walks away probably now just in such a clouded head, wondering what the hell happened, how did it happen, how could it happen. And you know, I'm a union member. Okay, I'm FICOR, but it doesn't matter. I'm still union. The fact is that I know that when you go on set, just so we're clear, I want to be very crystal clear about anybody taking this in any way, shape, and form in the wrong way. When you get on set and you're doing something, because I do a lot of cop and SWAT and cowboy and spy-ish stuff, when you get on set, they will check your gun. Most of the time, they're not real, quote unquote, real guns. They're prop guns. Uh, in some cases, like when I do cowboy stuff, we would use real ones because they do this. I dropped it, but here it is. This is a replica. It's not really a real bullet, but they don't use these, but they use these. They're called brass, or you know, this is what you would put a bullet in, and they put the powder in, and it shoots. They use these, and what they do is they put a little thing in the end of it called a primer cap, and when you hit it, if you have a little load in it, it goes boom. Well, nowadays it's just such a different world. I did a film I'm sorry, not Mumbai, but I did a film in Brazil for 46 days called O Matador, or The Killer, and I was the armorer on it, which means I was in charge of making sure that people, if they had a gun, they number one knew how to use it, number two, it wasn't loaded. And when you walk on a set, in the last five I've done in the last month or so, literally the armorer or the prop person comes up and says, "Can I check your gun?" Every 5 minutes. Can I check it? Check it. And they click it and they show you that it's not loaded. And they click it, click, 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 click. They show you that it's not loaded. It's unfathomable that this would happen on a set, especially, to be quite honest with you, a union set, because there's such guidelines when you have a gun. They have a safety meeting for the whole cast and the crew, meaning the director, everybody that shoots it, everybody. Pardon me. A little bit of a cough there. They always have a meeting going, look at this. We're using this, everybody. You understand. Please do not ever touch this. It's going to be on this table, or it's going to be on the actor. The actor never pulls it out and goes, hey, let's play, Cowboys and Indians or whatever. They never do that because you would be kicked off a set if you were playing around with a gun, even if it was a prop or a toy. You just don't do it. So the findings have come out already saying that apparently there was one live round in there. And unfortunately, it went through the director and the cinematographer. I don't even know how that can happen. The only thing I heard was it was not a union. The people that provided the guns and did the safety were not union, and they were just locals in New Mexico. Accidents do happen, but if you're out there and you're watching this and you're a reenactor, which I deal with all the time, I use my gun. I have a couple of real ones that I use for my gun spinning. They've never had a bullet in them. They never will have a bullet in them. I don't shoot them. I use them strictly for movies and for me doing my shows. So the fact that that wound up on set with a live round, a real bullet, is just mind-blowing. But I want you to understand that the industry, just because I do not want our industry to get the wrong rep, the wrong disrespectful any comments saying anything about this, because number one, it's a tragedy and it's unfortunate. Number two, we're a very safe industry, and from lights to cameras to action, all of our industry is extremely safe. So by all means, if you have any questions, reach out to me, whether it's on here, filmfestivallive.com, or my Instagram, which is Will Roberts Official. I'd love to answer any questions, but again, my condolences and to the families, anybody involved or anybody that was there and saw this happen. I know this is going to be a very difficult time for a while. So be safe, be well. Hate to start your weekend off this way, but go hug someone you love or go shake someone's hand that you want to meet. Well, fist bump. I appreciate your time, Film Festival Live, and I'm Will Roberts. Have a great weekend. Thanks. Oh, by the way, let's go out and watch the trailer, shall we? Let's finish that one. I think it's a good one.
I can feel your heart pound beating like a kick drum. Love it when I'm this